Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are going to be reviewing the new Revolution Matte Base Foundation. This has just been released. I got mine from Superdrug and it was £5, and you can also buy it on the Makeup Revolution website, and I'll link both of them down below so you know where to get it. So this foundation was released this week. It says it's a pore blurring full coverage foundation. I got mine in the shade F1 because that's usually the shade that I get when I try out Revolution's foundations, because the shade 0.5 is just a little bit too light for me. So you do get 28ml for that price. It's not a full 30ml, but it's almost there. So this foundation comes in 24 shades, which is pretty cool, but not as many as the Conceal and Define foundation, which is now at 50 shades. So if you can't find your shade in this, I recommend the Conceal and Define because I really like that foundation. I have done quite a few Revolution foundation reviews for the foundation. I've done the Fast Base, I've done the foundation drops, I've done the Camouflage, the Conceal and Define. Those are just off the top of my head. I'll link all the others in the description box so you can watch those videos. So the foundation was £5, and they also released a powder to go with it, and this powder is actually quite a good size. This is the shade P1 for powder 1, F1 for foundation 1. It's a nice colour. I would have liked it a little bit lighter, but you know, it's not too bad. Afterwards, when I've got the foundation on, I will do other swatches of other shades of like the Conceal and Define and the foundation drops in the shade F1, just so we can see whether there's any difference in the shade. So as usual with my foundation reviews, I've used the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer just because it does nothing drastic to my skin. I will do one side of my face with this is the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. It is a pink colour because it was like from a limited edition set. And on the brush side today, I'm going to use this Primark brush. It's from the Pro range. It's pretty cool. It's the number 102 Foundation Blending Brush. So I'm going to zoom you in and we're going to put the foundation on.
Close till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah. No,
Okay, so I have the foundation on now. Looking at it and like first observations, I'm not sure if it's a full coverage foundation yet, and I have actually gone in with a small second layer to try and build it up, and it builds up quite well. It's just I can see like spots. My nose is still quite red. I've got another spot here that I don't feel like it's covered up. I also felt that while it feels lightweight on my face, it was a little bit difficult to blend. It blended in better with the beauty sponge, but I didn't get as much coverage out of that. So when I did it with the brush, obviously I got better coverage, but it kind of felt a little bit stiff, if that makes any sense. It was harder to blend out. Yeah, my chin doesn't look great here. I'll have to go back and fix that. I'm actually going to use the Conceal and Define concealer now, and yeah, let's try and cover up these dark circles. Okay, so I've put the concealer on now, and I feel like it has bumped up the coverage quite a lot, and my skin actually looks really good. So I've put it on my nose, and it has covered up some of that redness that the foundation didn't cover up, which is pretty cool. And then I set my under eyes and my nose with this Primark PS My Perfect Colour Mineral Powder. So it just looks like this. I've been absolutely loving this at the moment, and the technique that I've been using is to get a damp beauty blender or beauty sponge and just dabbing it into the powder and then pouncing it onto my face, and it just kind of melts the powder into your skin. Obviously you need to dust off any kind of excess, but I've really been enjoying that, and this powder's like only £2. I use it in the shade Porcelain, so I recommend that from Primark if you want a cheap powder. Okay, so I'm going to use the Revolution powder now just on the rest of my face. And I'll be using this with it's a Makeup Addiction mini buffer brush. I actually do need a nice powder brush if anyone can recommend one. I'm in the market for one, so just going to dust some of this on my face. I don't seem to be picking up a lot on the brush. Okay, so let's just have a little look at the powder. Yeah, it looks nice on the skin. Obviously it's a very inexpensive powder, so that's quite cool, and I like that it's not really changed the colour of the foundation as well. Okay, so I've just put a little bit of makeup on, nothing dramatic, just, you know, everyday face. And so I'm actually having a bit of a revolution day because I've put some more of their products on my face. I've got the Obsession blush and bronzer from these two palettes, and Obsession is owned by Makeup Revolution. It's part of their like tree of brands, so I've got those on. These are really good palettes. I've got the Revolution mascara on, the one in the rose gold packaging. I think it's just called the Mascara Revolution. And then I'm just wearing on my lips this Primark matte lipstick in Thrill Seeker. So as you can tell, I do really like Revolution. Some of their products can be just hit and miss. So time is about 1 o'clock now, but I'm still going to give this a good, you know, 7-8 hours wear to see how it wears today. Now that I've put the rest of my face on, especially the concealer, I think it looks really nice. I think it did the foundation a lot of benefits when I put the concealer on, because it covered up that last bit of redness that I had. Yeah, so I think it looks pretty nice now. It is a matte foundation, I do agree, you know, it's no shine whatsoever even before the powder. Yeah, so first check-in is at 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna you're gonna see me in a second now with some swatches of the other foundations to compare it to. Okay, so here are the swatches of 3 of the Revolution foundations. You'll have to bear with me because I have just moved into a new filming space and I can't quite get the light right. So the one on the far left, this one is the new matte base foundation. Now I have let these all dry down on my hand for a few seconds, so some of them have oxidized a little bit. And me looking at them personally, I think the matte base is the darkest of the 3 and obviously the more peachy of them. Next to it in the middle is the Conceal and Define foundation. Now when I put this one on, this one was more of a neutral undertone and then it's oxidized a little bit. This one on the far right is the Foundation Drops foundation. Now this one is the slightly lightest one of them all, and I would say the most neutral. Hey guys, welcome back. The time is now around 9 o'clock at night, so I've been wearing this foundation for around 8 hours, so let's see how it's worn. Okay, so I think it's actually worn really nicely. I don't think in any particular area it's really worn off, except maybe my nose. I haven't got that much oil seeping through around my nose. There is a little bit, but not a massive amount, and then not really much on my forehead. So it stayed pretty matte all day, which I do like. And it is not as, I'm not as oily at the end of the day as I am when I use the Conceal and Define foundation. So I do like this foundation, how it's worn, how it looks on my skin. It looks really nice. We'll need to have a play around with the formula because it was a little bit stiff to work with, and it has oxidized a little bit, as you can see from the swatches. So yeah, that's another really good foundation from Revolution. Quite like this matte base, and give it a thumbs up for a $5, especially for like a drugstore foundation. I think is pretty good. So this one is one of my favourites from Revolution now, as well as like the Conceal and Define, and then sometimes I will wear the Foundation Drops as well. So that's probably like my favourite order. I'm not great with the fast base. I didn't like the camouflage concealer, but again, as I said before, I will link all those in my description box so you can have a look at those later. So thanks for watching today. I did do a poll on my Instagram, which I'll link in the description box, on which foundation you wanted to see today, whether it was the matte foundation from Revolution or whether it was this new e.l.f. foundation, which is the Flawless Finish foundation. I picked this up the other day, so we'll be doing a video on that one, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you again shortly. Bye!